Welcome to On the Mic with Loudmouth Matt, where he discusses all things U.S. politics from the vantage point of an average blue-collar man.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. This is Loudmouth Matt. This is my stitch, basically, of this video. I'm gonna have a link in it in my comments section, so you can go and see this video. The content creator, his name is Thomas the Villain Bishop. Mr. Villain, good evening. This is it's almost 4 o'clock my time. And it is Sunday the 25th. Mr. Villain, um, I have followed you for quite some while now. You and your brother. I he told everybody he had to, get off and all that. I hope your brother's doing well. So please, um, I let him know that I wish him well and I hope everything's doing good for him. And now with you, Mr. Bishop, I agree with everything you've said in your video. 100%. I agree with you 100 fucking percent. Okay. Now the bombing thing that you mentioned, I have no idea what that is, and that's me saying it because I am ignorant, not knowing all of our history that we grew up through. Um, the Rodney King riots, I remember when that happened. And this is from, like you said, a white person's point of view, where we, are supposed to be in solidarity, and you see that we're not, I see it too. On, I'm sorry to say it, my side. Um, I remember being at my aunt's house, and she's is in the top 1% in my state because of my uncle. Now, I remember being at their house one time, and this was still fresh. This was still going on, and I remember that. And I wanted. I was in my pre-teens, I think, like 10 to 12, 13 ish. I think it was. Um, and I remember, them making their comments and having conversations about it, and I just looked and I remember, and this again, this is me. This is just me. I said, but do we know the story? What happened? And they're like, yeah, well, they said that this, and this, and he. I was like, and that justifies it. Why? I mean, being me, who I am, I'm asking these questions because I know it was wrong. And I remember saying this to these people, and and so for the most part, they're like, yeah, but I'm not racist. And I was like, no one said it. I didn't say anything about that. I mean, I'm literally trying to have that conversation you're saying that we don't have, and you're right. A lot of people don't like having it. Um, so you are right. A lot of us have been showing our faces, and to be honest with you, I don't like it neither. Um, Now with the O.J. Simpson thing, I remember that more because obviously I was in high school, 11th, 12th grade ish when this was all going down, and honestly, I was like, dude's guilty. I mean, it was just, wait a minute, what's going on? And honestly, I don't. It was one of those things that was like, well, he went through the court system. They found him not guilty, and it is what it is. I mean, I don't know why I said he was guilty at the time. I don't remember. Could it have been from some bias and some ignorance on my behalf? Most certainly, it could have, and I can't sit here and say yay or nay. I can't. And yeah, I do also agree. You know, um, with what you're saying in a lot of your videos. I do. And to be honest with you, Mr. Bishop, seeing you say these things hit a nerve, but not in the bad way, okay? Because by you saying what you were saying in this particular video, it kind of opened up my eyes a little bit. Like, I mean, I've always been for the just and this, with my opinions. Um, and this black fatigue, I've never heard of it. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. Um, because I'm gonna call it out on its bullshit when I hear it. Because again, this is from me and my point of view. This is how I am. My fatigue is the injustice, the fatigue of the injustice, because I've always asked these questions, and I never cared what the headlines were when I would ask questions, like when someone would be having a conversation about something we saw on the news or what. I never went to when they said, well, a black male, the the suspect of a mid-30s black male. Like, to me, that doesn't mean it's just, to me, it doesn't matter if the person is black or white. You don't have to put that in the article as the headline. That always bothered me. You know, yeah, and I agree. We need to start calling out bullshit, and that we need to call a spade a spade. I agree with you 100%. Again, Mr. Bishop. But like I said, in this video, you struck a nerve, and it was that nerve, like, he's right, and yeah, there's not enough He-Man or Voltron, and I was never really big in MTV or VH1 or BET, or I was never really into videos. But yeah, there's not enough nostalgia to, yeah, nah, fuck this. I agree with you 100%. Now, I think it was in one of my videos I said this was after the election. Um, I said, and I say it still, and I know I leave the comments, and the comment is that, how do I want to? My comment is, we have to assume, even me, that every white person that you see, you have to assume they wear a fucking white fucking hoodie. I don't fucking trust you. I don't. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I tell people that. You have to assume that. And you have to, for because you don't know who you can fucking trust. And these people that are saying this with the black fatigue, and they wanted to say this shit or that shit, and to, like you said, go with mommy and daddy and grandpappy and all that. I agree with you. Got to call them out and be like, what the fuck, man? And I'm thankful that they show their fucking colors. I am, because there are people I don't even fucking associate with, And if I find out one of my friends would say something like that, I'm like, dude, I'll call you out on your bullshit and I'll let it go. But I hear it again, I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I am that guy. And I have people say, yeah, he'll sit there and he'll say something, you know. Um, but you're right, and I am not trying to attack Mr. Bishop. I am trying to sit there and agree with him because he's right. And, for those who are saying and are becoming part of this black fatigue group of people, what the fuck? Like, seriously, what in the fuck, dude? I don't get it. You and the comments that get me are these. Oh, yeah, well, but my best friend's black, or I have black friends, or this and that. No, that tells me you know someone that is black. Tell me their fucking kids' names. Tell me their wife's name. Tell me something about them. Then maybe I'll say, yeah, you have a black friend. But why then do you turn around and say you emphasize that? And this is why. Because they're playing with the deck of cards to show, oh, I'm not. Because all they're trying to do is pacify everybody. So in reality, I really don't give a fuck. You're using the whole my friend card to show that you're not a racist, but in all reality, you are a fucking racist. Because the ones who have the black friend, you turn around and you say the inappropriate racial jokes, or you laugh at them, you don't call them out, because when you don't call them out, you're not friends. You're just, a black man or a black woman. We got to start calling a fucking spade a spade. You're a fucking bigot. I don't know what else to fucking tell you. And then you have those who sit there and say, well, my 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 cousin's gay, and that stuff don't bother me, or my sister's trans, and that doesn't bother me. Blah 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 blah. No, you're a fucking phobie. You're a dumbass. Okay, because, and this is why I say it. Because knowing that was part of the guidelines of voting. When you voted for this dude, right? You already knew that it was wrong, but you had to justify that, it's just talk, to try to justify your vote for him. No, it's you have it's a fucking you're transphobia. No, you're a fucking bigot. That's what it comes down to. You need to have the balls and start to admit that's what you are, because it is. Um, so yeah, that's kind of how I am. I kind of like, what the fuck? My circle's small. My circle is very fucking small. I have one, two, three, four brothers. I have one sister. No, I'm sorry. I got one, two, three, four, like five sisters. And then you got my mom and my dad. And then you got my stepmom. Then you got my mom and my dad from, other brothers and sisters and all this and that. My circle's small. And when I refer to someone, it doesn't matter if it's Stephanie or Mike or Bill or Steve or, whatever. I'm always I don't emphasize nationality. And the reason being is because, to me, I don't need to let you, the person that I'm talking to, know that this person's white, uh, indigenous, or Hispanic. There's no need. I may say my sister, or my brother, or this or that, and I'm never identifying their nationality. So when you sit there, to me, when you as a white person turns around and says, "Yeah, but my best friend," or you know, my boss, and we talk out, we hang out, or this and that. It doesn't matter. You tell me something about that person, because I can tell you something about everybody I have in my circle, because that's who I am. And and I'm sorry, Mr. Bishop, that you were that we actually showed our cards. Let me phrase this the way it should be phrased. Mr. Bishop, I am sorry that the we showed that. And I'm saying we because you're right. I'm part of the problem because I never spoke up. In retrospect, I mean, I did, but it obviously it wasn't enough. I wasn't loud enough, and for that I apologize, because it's I let people down. So I got to get louder. You're right, and I don't. It makes me sick. I'm not doing this for clicks. This is just me being me, and um, I it bothers me that people are getting like that, because we have had the benefits of the systemic racism in this country. And there are people who are sick of it because we know it's wrong. But when you start having people saying that they're getting black fatigued, you're part of the fucking problem. And that's if you continue to be the problem, nothing's going to get resolved. So I don't know what I can do or say, but call you out when I hear it, and I do. So I just I don't get people. I don't understand people when it comes to this. I mean, I remember having those conversations with, you know, black friends at the time, or my parents, and some white friends that I had. But my white friends were also friends with my black friends. And I can vouch, again, our circle was small, even when we were kids. But for the consistency of the ones that did and have stayed in touch, we are all on the same page. Even if we were having our disagreements about whatever it might have been, but we have stayed in touch enough to have these conversations and say, yeah, what the fuck? Um, and the group of friends, there's a variety of people. Um, So if someone that I knew that was a part of my group that ended up saying that, I would have to turn my head to him and say, what the fuck? Because I would, again, with the policies and the politics that are going on, I would just say, and this is exactly what I would say. What the fuck are you talking about? They're taking away fucking rights from so and so and this and that. What the fuck? And I have said that. I've said that about my sister-in-law, uh, my brother, my mom, my wife, and all the time on my Facebook. You take away a minority's rights, they're going to come and take our fucking rights. You need to wake the fuck up and stand and fucking fight. And if you're not going to, you're part of the fucking problem. And yeah, I've lost friends over the last administration when he was in office because they're part of the fucking problem. So, Mr. Bishop, I don't mean to waste your time. It's 20 minutes on this video, but this one was one of those ones I really wanted to try to jump into, deep dive into it, and tell you I agree. I mean, I know it doesn't mean nothing to you, and I respect that, Mr. Bishop. Um, I followed you for a while. I have been in multiple names that I've had. Again, like I said, same with your brother. Um, I wanted to say thank you again because you brought stuff to my attention that I didn't know about. And, sir, I appreciate that. I greatly do appreciate that. Um, and so, I might have rambled. I'm sorry, everybody. But if you made it through, I do greatly appreciate it. I'm going to leave a link to Mr. Bishop's video. I'm going to ask you guys to go back and watch it. I mean, seriously, watch it. Listen to what the man's saying. You know, he's right. And maybe if I changed only 10 people's opinions in my entire life, I did something right. So, Mr. Bishop, I'm sorry, excuse me. Mr. Bishop, I do truly hope you have a good day. And to everybody else, y'all, we need to wake the fuck up, people. I don't understand us. I don't know.